Think back to the food rules you learned as a kid. That whole instruction manual for a healthy life? It was a masterpiece of fiction. A collection of myths, marketing slogans, and government-approved propaganda, all served up as nutritional science. For decades, an entire generation followed this faulty blueprint. They trusted the pyramid, demonized the wrong ingredients, and bought the products sold to them by a multi-trillion-dollar industry. Today, we're burning that blueprint. This isn't just a list of debunked facts. This is the story of the 27 biggest food lies that an entire generation was tricked into believing. Prepare to question everything you thought you knew about your dinner plate. 1. Let's start with the food pyramid, the one we all saw in our school classrooms. That colorful pyramid, a sacred map to a healthy life, telling us to build our diets on a mountain of bread, pasta, and cereal, 6 to 11 servings a day. You might be shocked to learn this pyramid was not designed by doctors. It was designed by the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the very same organization whose job is to promote and sell American agricultural products. They put grains at the bottom not because it was the healthiest option, but because they had a massive surplus of cheap corn and wheat to sell. An entire generation was told to load up on refined carbohydrates, launching a global carb fest that directly contributed to the modern obesity and diabetes epidemics. It wasn't a pyramid of health. It was a corporate flowchart for the grain industry. 2. Here's a classic piece of parental propaganda. Eat your carrots and you'll be able to see in the dark. Incredibly, this entire myth was invented by the British Royal Air Force during World War II as a piece of military deception. When the British developed revolutionary new radar technology to shoot down German bombers at night, they didn't want the enemy to know about their tech. So they fed the press a brilliant cover story. Their ace pilot's incredible accuracy was due to a diet rich in carrots. The public ate it up and the lie became a global phenomenon. Your parents weren't just trying to get you to eat vegetables, they were unknowingly spreading 80-year-old British military propaganda at the dinner table. 3. Consider the single most destructive mantra of the 20th century. Eating fat makes you fat. This simple, catchy phrase declared war on every fat molecule in the grocery store. But the lie was built on flawed science and heavily promoted by the sugar industry, who paid scientists to downplay the dangers of sugar and point the finger at fat instead. When food manufacturers removed fat from products, they had to replace it with something to make the food taste like anything other than cardboard. Their weapon of choice? Sugar, and tons of it. An entire generation diligently ate their sad, tasteless, low-fat yogurts and cookies while unknowingly consuming the very ingredient that actually drives weight gain. We didn't have a fat problem. We had a being lied to by the sugar lobby problem. 4. What about the perfect excuse? A glass of red wine a day is good for your heart. It's not indulgence, it's medicine. The supposed hero in red wine, a compound called resveratrol, is real. But the amount is so laughably small you'd need to drink hundreds of glasses to get the therapeutic dose used in studies. Any minor antioxidant benefit is completely overshadowed by the fact that alcohol is, fundamentally, a toxin that your liver has to work overtime to process. The idea that it's a health food is a masterpiece of marketing for the alcohol industry. So stop pretending your nightly glass of Merlot is a health supplement. It's a mild poison you happen to enjoy. 5. At the coffee shop, reaching for the brown sugar packet feels like a small, virtuous choice. It seems like you're choosing nature's candy over the processed white stuff. This is a complete and utter illusion. Brown sugar is not a healthy, unprocessed alternative. It is just refined white sugar with a fake tan. Seriously, manufacturers take pure white sugar and spray a tiny amount of molasses back onto it to give it color and a slightly different flavor. That molasses contains trace minerals, but the amount is so insignificant it's the nutritional equivalent of dust. Choosing brown sugar for your health is like choosing a cigarette with a filter. You're still just mainlining the bad stuff. 6. For decades, the golden, delicious egg yolk was public enemy number 1, accused of being a cholesterol-packed grenade that would blow up your arteries. But your body is not that simple. Your liver produces cholesterol naturally, and when you eat more of it, your liver simply produces less to compensate. For the vast majority of people, dietary cholesterol has a negligible effect on blood cholesterol. The real villains for heart health are trans fats, sugar, and inflammation from processed foods. An entire generation threw away the most nutritious part of the egg out of fear. The egg was never the villain. The villain was the bad science that framed it for a crime it didn't commit. 7. We've all heard the nutritional dogma that breakfast is the most important meal of the day, making skipping it feel like a cardinal sin. This ancient wisdom wasn't discovered in a lab. It was invented in a 19th century marketing boardroom by a man named John Harvey Kellogg. He and other cereal pioneers created this slogan for one simple reason: to sell more processed cornflakes. There is nothing magical about the 8 a.m. hour for your metabolism. The idea that you must eat breakfast is pure, unadulterated advertising. It's not the most important meal of the day, it's the most successfully marketed meal of the day. 8. And then there's the tyrannical rule of 8 8-ounce glasses of water a day. This has haunted us for generations, turning perfectly hydrated people into paranoid water-chugging machines. This specific number comes from a massive misinterpretation of a 1945 recommendation. The original advice stated that people need about that much water, but it failed to mention that a huge portion of it comes from the food you eat. Fruits, vegetables, soup, and even your coffee all contribute to your hydration. Your body has a built-in hydration sensor. It's called thirst. You don't need to count glasses, you just need to listen to your body, not some arbitrary decades-old rule. 9. A glass of orange juice with breakfast is the picture of health, right? A delicious way to get your vitamins. But the moment you squeeze the juice out of a fruit, you strip away its single most important feature, the fiber. Without fiber to slow down absorption, you're left with a glass of sugar water that spikes your blood sugar just as fast as a can of soda. Yes, there are some vitamins, but they don't cancel out the massive sugar bomb. People thought they were making a healthy choice while essentially drinking liquid candy for breakfast. Calling fruit juice a health drink is like calling a donut a whole grain. 10. The microwave has been demonized as a futuristic radiation box that zaps your food, leaving behind a lifeless, nutrient-dead husk. This is not just wrong, it's the complete opposite of the truth. Microwaving is one of the best cooking methods for preserving nutrients. Nutrient loss in food is caused by two things: high heat and long cooking times, especially in water. Microwaves cook food incredibly fast and use very little water. The real nutrient assassin in your kitchen is that pot of boiling water you use to turn your vibrant broccoli into a soggy green corpse. Stop fearing your microwave, start fearing your own boiling habits. 11. Remember the MSG panic? In the 1960s, a wave of fear convinced the world that MSG, an ingredient in many Chinese restaurants, caused headaches and weakness. This Chinese restaurant syndrome was based on a single, poorly written letter to a medical journal and fueled by thinly veiled xenophobia. After decades of double-blind, placebo-controlled studies, there is no consistent evidence that MSG is harmful to most people. MSG is just sodium plus glutamate, the exact same compound that gives Parmesan cheese and tomatoes their savory umami flavor. MSG was never the villain. It was a flavor enhancer that got unfairly canceled for 60 years.
12. In the height of the war on fat, butter was demonized. The hero that emerged to save us was margarine. But to create solid margarine from liquid vegetable oil, manufacturers used a process called hydrogenation, which created something far more dangerous: industrial trans fats. We now know that these artificial trans fats are one of the worst things you can possibly eat, directly linked to heart disease. An entire generation dutifully replaced a natural fat with a synthetic factory-made poison, believing they were making the healthy choice. They told you to avoid butter. They should have told you to avoid the chemists pretending to be chefs. 13. Agave nectar was marketed as a wholesome, low-glycemic syrup from the cactus plant, the holy grail for the health-conscious. This was a beautiful lie. Agave is not a wholesome syrup. It's a highly processed product whose low glycemic status comes from the fact that it's almost pure fructose, even more concentrated than high fructose corn syrup. While it doesn't spike your blood sugar, it sends a massive fructose bomb directly to your liver, contributing to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. It's not a health food. It's just a different, more deceptive type of sugar. 14. We've all seen the ads. You finish a 30-minute jog, so you need a neon-colored sports drink to replenish your electrolytes. But these drinks were designed for one specific purpose: to help elite athletes during prolonged, intense exercise lasting over an hour. For the average person doing a moderate workout, chugging a sports drink is an incredibly efficient way to immediately consume all the calories they just burned. You're not replacing lost glycogen, you're just drinking liquid candy with a dash of salt. For most workouts, water is fine. Gatorade is for the Tour de France, not for your Tuesday spin class. 15. The word natural on a food label is like a warm hug from the marketing department, but the term natural is about as regulated as a toddler's temper tantrum. It means almost nothing. Arsenic is natural, crude oil is natural, poison ivy is all natural. The FDA has no real definition for it, allowing companies to slap it on products filled with high fructose corn syrup as long as they originated from a natural source like corn. The word natural doesn't describe the food, it describes the person who believes the marketing. 16. Many people treat the word organic like a magical health halo, as if an organic cookie is practically a vitamin. But organic is a farming term, not a nutrition term. It refers strictly to farming methods, no synthetic pesticides or fertilizers. It says nothing about the food's actual nutritional profile. Study after study has found no significant increase in vitamins or minerals in organic produce. So when you buy organic cane sugar, you're not buying health. You're buying regular sugar that was grown on a more expensive lawn. Your organic candy is still candy. It's just more expensive. 17. Got milk? Our skeletons were portrayed as milk-dependent scaffolding, destined to crumble without a daily infusion of dairy. This marketing was so effective that many people can't even name another source of calcium. But many populations around the world consume very little dairy and have remarkably low rates of osteoporosis. Your bones need a team of nutrients: vitamin D, vitamin K, magnesium, and you can get plenty of calcium from leafy greens, fortified foods, and fish. Milk is a source of calcium, not the only source. You don't got milk, you got marketed to.
18. There's a persistent myth that your metabolism clocks out at 8 p.m., and any calorie eaten after that hour magically transforms into more fat. Your body does not have a magical nighttime clock. The reason people associate late-night eating with weight gain is simple. No one is sitting down at 11 p.m. to binge-eat a kale salad. They're mindlessly devouring ice cream or chips while staring at a screen. It's not the time that's the problem. It's the high-calorie junk food choices you'll make in your pajamas. Your metabolism doesn't go to sleep. Your self-control does. 19. Is a calorie just a calorie? The idea sounds logical. As long as calories in are less than calories out, the source doesn't matter. But your body isn't a simple furnace. It's a complex chemistry lab. 100 calories of soda and 100 calories of chicken do not behave the same way inside you.
Protein burns more energy to digest and keeps you feeling full. Sugar hits your bloodstream like a freight train, causing an insulin spike and a subsequent crash that leaves you craving more. All calories are equal, but some are far more equal than others. 20. In gyms worldwide, there's a frantic, panicked ritual driven by the myth of the anabolic window. The belief is you must slam a protein shake within 30 minutes of your workout, or your muscles will instantly wither and die. This myth was a multi-billion-dollar gift to supplement companies. In reality, that so-called window is more like a massive barn door that stays open for several hours. What truly matters is your total protein intake throughout the entire day, not a mad dash to the shaker bottle. Relax, your gains aren't going anywhere, but your money is, straight into the pockets of big protein. 21. For decades, saturated fat was painted as a dietary monster that would turn your arteries into solid concrete. This was a massive oversimplification. Recent, more comprehensive science has shown that the context matters. Saturated fat from a donut is not the same as from a grass-fed steak. The idea that all saturated fat is equally evil has been debunked. The true drivers of heart disease are a combination of sugar, refined carbs, and inflammation, not your grandmother's butter. They blame the fat for what the sugar did. 22. Diet soda promises endless sweetness with 0 calories and 0 guilt. The perfect loophole. But your brain and body don't fall for marketing. These artificial sweeteners are hundreds of times sweeter than real sugar. This can desensitize your palate, making naturally sweet foods like fruit taste dull. And it can ramp up your cravings for intensely sweet things. Some studies also suggest they can negatively alter your gut bacteria. It's not a healthy choice. It's just a different, more confusing way to trick your body. 23. Paying a premium for that beautiful Himalayan pink salt feels like an investment in your health. But this is like paying $100 for artisan-branded air. Chemically, all salt is about 98% sodium chloride. Those pretty pink crystals get their color from trace minerals, but the amounts are so infinitesimally small they have 0 impact on your health. In fact, by shunning cheap table salt, you might be missing out on iodine, a crucial nutrient added to prevent thyroid problems. You're paying 10 times the price for a salt that is, ironically, less nutritionally complete.
24. You've probably heard the gym bro gospel to eat 6 small meals a day to stoke the metabolic fire. The theory is that frequent eating keeps your metabolism running at a higher rate. This is based on a misunderstanding of the thermic effect of food. The calories your body burns digesting a meal is proportional to the size of the meal. Burning the calories from 2,400 calories spread across 6 small meals is the exact same as burning them across 3 larger meals. Your metabolism isn't a campfire. Eating all day doesn't stoke it. It just makes you think about food all day. 25. Carbohydrates have been cast as the ultimate dietary villain. This is a dangerously lazy oversimplification. Lumping a bowl of steel-cut oats in with a can of soda is like putting a firefighter and an arsonist in the same category because they both deal with fire. Your body, and especially your brain, runs on glucose, which comes from carbs. The key is the source. Demonizing an entire essential macronutrient is a nutritional witch hunt. Don't hate the player. Hate the highly processed, sugar-loaded, fiberless version of the game. 26. Remember the slogan, "Pork, the other white meat." It was a brilliant marketing campaign from the 1980s designed to reposition pork next to the lean, healthy image of chicken. But it was just marketing, not a nutritional classification. Nutritionally, pork is still classified as red meat. The slogan was a deliberate attempt to trick consumers into thinking a pork chop was no different from a chicken breast, glossing over differences in saturated fat and preparation methods. It wasn't the other white meat. It was just a red meat wearing a clever disguise. 27. Finally, the ultimate symbol of processed food permanence, the myth that a Twinkie could survive a nuclear apocalypse, remaining perfectly preserved for decades.
This is a massive exaggeration that the company itself has had to debunk. The official shelf life of a Twinkie is only about 45 days. While that's long for a baked good, it's far from immortal. The myth grew from its long list of chemical ingredients becoming a symbol of our fascination and fear of modern food science. The Twinkie may not last forever, but the lie about it certainly has. So there you have it. 27 lies that were served up on a platter and eaten by an entire generation. From military propaganda to marketing genius, the story of our food is a lot more complicated than we were led to believe. But here's where we get to the real truth. The food industry hasn't stopped lying. It's just gotten better at it. The myths of today are subtler, wrapped in words like wellness and clean eating. This brings me to the real challenge. What is the biggest food lie being pushed on us right now? What's the low-fat craze of our current generation? Name the myth and defend your answer in the comments below. Let's expose the truth together. And if your mind has been officially blown, you know the drill. Hit like and subscribe to Falsum for more truths that are hard to swallow.